Hello everyone, I am Sagar Sinha and I am going to talk about exploring gentrification in Global South, a case study on Bangalore urban agglomeration. To begin with the definition of gentrification, it was initially coined by British sociologist Ruth Glass in 1964, where she describes the condition of London as movement of upper class people referred to as gentry into lower class workers resident in urban neighborhood, taking up their residences, opening businesses, resulting in a variety of changes by upgradation of infrastructure by external investment. This is also known as classical form of gentrification. Gentrification theory are of two types: production side gentrification theory given by Neil Smith in 1979, where he talks about rent gap thesis, and consumption side gentrification theory given by Lay in 1986, where he talks about professionalization thesis, and Hammett in 1991, where he talks about industrial restructuring and occupational changes. There are many authors who has done their work in this perspective. The demand side perspective referred to as consumption side gentrification theory, where supply perspective referred to as production side gentrification theory. Coming on to the neoliberal urbanism and its association with gentrification. To begin with the definition, neoliberal urbanism describes the transformation of cities and urban area under influence of neoliberal policy. Neoliberalism is a political ideology that emphasizes free market, individual freedom, limited government interventions, and is often associated with privatization of basic services, promotion of business interests, and deregulation of urban development. It has significantly impacted Indian cities, and where supporters argue with the fact that it stimulates economic growth and improves quality of life, whereas the critics provide evidences for income inequality, social disparity, and loss of cultural heritage. As a whole, it has resulted in displacement of resident and small businesses, construction of high-end housing and condominiums, limited access to essential services. Additionally, the focus on economic activity and efficiency has led to neglect in social consideration, destabilized cultural heritage, and increased financial activity and movement of affluent resident in the neighborhood. This is referred to as process of gentrification. How gentrification is relevant in Indian context, as the analytical utility of gentrification from the West cannot be presumed or compared with analytical utility of gentrification in the East. Residential property are being sold out even before construction, and the wealth accumulated are reinvested in land acquisition and purchases. Land disposition and property investment are rampant, especially in the peripheral areas. For example, Gurugram and Noida in NCR corridor between Mumbai and Pune, and the southern area beyond Bangalore's electronic city. Also, the small land transaction and land aggregation has started taking place. The notion of planetary gentrification has expanded to politically motivated displacement and redevelopment. Not much research has been done in changing practices of zoning, land management, and deployment of technology and of land management. For example, SEZs. Research in Indian urban redevelopment reveals that there is a complex and additional dimension of gentrification. Coming on to my methodology, to understand the process of gentrification and its evidence, the study examines the contribution of three methods. First is observational language of the map and multi-locality comparison, which help us to identify some predominant area of the city that are undergoing significant change during the last decade. Systematic street level and parcel level observation will help us in on-ground verification for more detailed and nuanced understanding of the changes. And the semi-structured interview or narrative from the local will help in a detailed and valuable insight from the lived experience of the resident. The methodology has been built upon the works of Lace and Lay, as mentioned in the book by Martin Phillip in 2004, as well as some other authors. The data collection was performed during June 2022 and September 22. Coming on to the study location, these are the 10 study locations that is initially identified from the maps. First one is Pinya Industrial Area. Pinya Industrial Area was established in late 1970s and is known as one of the biggest industrial area of Asia. The key observation of this area includes low-rise, semi-pakka and pakka houses that are built almost 40 years ago, whereas the high-rise building has come up in the past 5 years. This area is basically occupied by daily wages and working in these industries. The migrants belong from Bihar, UP, Odisha, and the nearby district. The second case study was Electronic City. The key observation include that the low-rise structure belong to the local residents for more than 50, who are residing in this area for more than 50 years. The migrants are from UP, Bihar, West Bengal, and works as mason, security guard, house helpers, etc. Rent for the low-rise one-room and kitchen structure ranges between 2,500 to 5,000 and almost up to 10,000 for 1 BHK. The rent for 2 BHK apartment ranges from 30,000 to 40,000 per month. The third study area is Doda Banaswadi. The key observation include that most of the land owner has sold their land and has migrated to a new place or a new state. The area is currently the area is occupied by the local people or the migrants from Andhra Pradesh, and it has a mixed kind of housing typology varying from low-rise structure to very high-rise structures. Also, the nearby locality has big commercial space and restaurant chains. Fourth case study is Whitefield. The key observation includes that most of the community in this area are gated community and are developed last 8 to 10 years, while there are also some low-rise structures that are as old as 60 to 70 years. The rent of these low-rise structures has gone up from 2,500 rupees to 9,000 rupees for 1 BHK in past 4 to 5 years. The residents residing in this area are mostly working in and around the region of ITPL. The fifth case study is Atibele. The key observation include industrial area. This area is located between Bangalore and Hosur in Tamil Nadu and is mostly occupied by the migrants from Gujarat, Odisha, working in the industry such as garment industry or light engineering industry. Lately, in these areas, small telecom company has started coming up. The rent of a 1 BHK in this area starts from 2,000 rupees to 6,000 rupees, whereas for the 2 BHK structure is roughly around 8,000 to 10,000. Talking about the result and discussion, the globalization and neoliberal urbanism resulted in formation of special economic zone and agglomeration of knowledge-based IT industries, which resulted in improvement of job opportunity in manufacturing sector as well as rise in informal and unorganized sector. Due to the improved job opportunity in manufacturing and service sector, in-migration of skilled labor has occurred. As a result, there is a surge in demand of luxury and high-rise apartment, which as in all resulted in construction of high-rise condominium and conversion of single-story houses to luxury cottage. Because of these construction, there has been improvement and expansion of infrastructure. Also, the developer has started aggregating small land as well as wealth accumulated, and rural and agricultural land conversion has started taking place. The rise in informal and organized sector has resulted in in-migration of skilled labor and migrants from the nearby town. There is a surge in demand of affordable housing. As a result, there is increase in slum and squatter formation, which the government started providing the basic services. Due to the formation of slum and squatter and the rise in high-rise condominium in the nearby area, land grabbing has been taking place by the private developer, which is a form of gentrification. Talking about the conclusion, the study reveals several key points that provide evidence of gentrification in Bangalore. The first one is continuous rise in land value and property prices in the real estate market, the displacement of poor resident and concentration of disadvantaged group in the small area. There is a continuous inflow of affluent people in this area. As a result, it is reflecting in spatial polarization. Residents in these low-rise areas are often engaged in unorganized sector, as they provide various service and support catering to the demand of gentrifying population. They are forced to live in substandard self-built structure. Due to the improved opportunity in post-liberal era, long-term residents who are residing in the area for past 30 to 50 years find themselves unaffordable to live the upscale lifestyle and are involuntarily forced to sell their plot and vacate the area. The construction of new high-rise condominium has started taking place. There is a displacement of almost entire community in the neighborhood, low-lying community in the neighborhood. The landowner benefit financially and from this process and settle in a new neighborhood or a new estate, whereas the low-income people living in a low-rise structure found a new area to settle until the expansion of the city reaches them. There is also a lack of inclusion in the government redevelopment policies, whereas which currently prioritizes economic growth and urban transformations. These are a few references. Thank you.